All right, okay. Hey, hey, everybody. It's Wednesday, April. Oh my gosh, it's not even April, it's March. It's March 25th, 2015. And this is for Terry and whoever else out there might be a beginner quilter. I started doing this and I thought, oh, I guess I should do a tip or a video on this so people can see how easy it is. Now, this is my quilt with the sunflowers on it, remember? And one of my readers, somebody who read my blog, I don't know, she saw the video. Some people sign up to see all my videos, but they don't know about my blog. And some people know about my blog, but they see my videos through my blog. So this girl evidently saw the sunflower quilt on YouTube, and she put the name of it. She said, why don't you name it Kissed by the Sun? And I just absolutely love it. So this quilt is called Kissed by the Sun, and it is applique, as you know. It's got two giant sunflowers, and it's got all of these leaves, and the pattern said for the stems, it said to make bias tape. Well, I did make bias tape, and when I went to put it on there, I decided I didn't like it because it was too thick and bulky. And so I just have a single thickness, a single layer of these leaves, and everything on here has steam-a-seam, light behind it. And so I was getting ready to put it on the long arm. I have the backing on the long arm, I have the puffy stuff on the long arm, and I was getting ready to put this on the long arm, and I thought, you know what, I really need to sew down around all this applique before I start quilting it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to change thread when I'm quilting and put brown on the fence and yellow on the flower and green on the stems, and I don't want to do that. So I decided I would hurry up and quilt it. So how do you hurry up, not quilt it? I'm not quilting it, I'm sewing it. Sometimes my brain goes slower than my mouth does, okay? I'm sewing down the applique. Now, in the olden days, when I first learned this, I always used a real tight zigzag stitch, about on a number 3 or 3.5 wide, and I sewed it real close together, and I used a very close stitch and a foot that moved, and the feed dogs were up. Well, this is much easier, and it doesn't show up as much, and that's kind of better. And I will have to change the threads. I've got brown on now for the fence, but I want to show you how to do this. Terry does this a little bit, I think. But I put on my big table. See my big plexiglass table here for my sewing machine? So it can hold more of the surface of my quilt. Then I put just a plain color off-white in the bobbin for the back, and I have dark brown because I'm doing the fence right now. So I have lowered the feed dogs, so the feed dogs are not going to go. So this quilt is not going to go anywhere unless I move it. I also have it on a zigzag stitch, but it's a very narrow zigzag stitch. On this machine, it's a 1.5. And so I am just moving it. Now, the old-fashioned way, when I had to do the straight, really tight zigzag stitch, the satin stitch, I had to always turn everything. So I'd be going the right way. You know, when the fence turns at the top, I would have to turn it, and then I'd have to turn it again, and then I'd have to turn it again to go back down straight again. When you're doing it this way, you don't have to turn anything. You just move the quilt and the zigzag just goes. So I'm going to do it a little bit. I'm sorry, I can't operate my camera better. I noticed some people that do jewelry have a button they push or something, like a remote control. And I actually think my phone might be able to do that, but I haven't had time to learn how to do it yet. So hopefully you can see this. I want you to watch my hands. Notice how I'm not turning the quilt. I'm just moving my hands and following the outline of the fence. The needle is the pencil, so to speak, the pen, and this is the paper, and I'm moving the paper so the pen draws right on the edge of the fence, okay? But it's not drawing, it's sewing a zigzag stitch, okay? So hopefully I can do this now. Now, there are helpers for this. There's gloves that you can wear that have sticky fingers. You can use those little rubber tips that you separate paper with. I have a hoop over there that Sharon Chamber made that's wonderful. But since I have, this is real important now. Usually when they tell you to do applique, they have you put tearaway on the back. So you have tearaway on the back before you sew the front. Well, when you already have this stuff permanently attached with the Steam-A-Seam light, you don't have to use that tearaway. And the tearaway is a pain in the rear. So why use it if you don't have to, okay? So here we go, no tearaway, just thread. I've tightened the bobbin, the little screw in the bobbin. I've tightened it a little bit so it won't have any white thread on top and it'll be pulling the brown to the bottom. Okay, so here I go. Now you gotta do this. That's your paper fingers, see? And it's easier if you go fast, so I gotta get started here. Hopefully this won't even show up when I get through quilting it. If you have a good enough match on your thread, now sit up straight and put your shoulders back so you don't have a backache and a hip ache and everything else ache. I wish you could see this close up. Until I get better with the camera, or Terry gets over here to film me. Terry and her husband are taking their new Corvette probably. I don't know what car they took, but they're always going to another town like Jerry and I do. Only their town's 5.5 hours away. Can you imagine? I would hate that. It's like going to Branson, Missouri every other week. Now that's the end of that fence. So I am going to cut this off and bring it over close to the camera. Of course, we don't know what I'm going to cut it off with, do we? I had a hoozy for the watch it here a minute ago. Here we find these scissors. Let's use these scissors. You know what I have at my other house? I have scissors tied with elastic to every one of my machines. And then I can find them when I need them. Now see, here's the back. Let me get up a little bit closer. So you can see. Let me turn the camera around so I can see what you can see. Okay. So, I've only done let me back off a little bit here. I've only done, hold it still, Joy, this one, this, and this. That's all I've done so far, okay? Oh, goodness, I am so sorry. I'm such a klutz with the camera. Okay, so this one isn't sewn yet, or any of these over here. Just these. And I bet you can hardly even see my stitches, which is the idea, but they're sewn down. Now, if I show you the back, you'll be able to see the stitches. See how the brown thread is pulling through just a little bit? That's what you want. You want the top thread to pull through to the back. You don't want the back thread to pull through to the top. Okay? So, I have all the leaves to do and all the stems to do. And while I have the brown on here, I'll go ahead and I'll go around the brown part of the sunflowers. Here, this brown and this brown, and I'll do all the fence. And then I'll go get a green and I'll do all these leaves, and then I'll get a darker green and I'll do the stems, and then I'll go get a yellow and do all of the leaves. Okay? So I'll take a picture of it when I get it all done, and you can see how it looks when you do it like this, and see if you hate it and think it's ugly or what. Now remember, I'm putting this on the long arm and I'm going to quilt it. And so this will all be puffy and indented by the quilting stitches, and a lot of this you won't even see. So anyway, that's it for today. I have to go. Bye. Sorry for the runaround.